I just want to welcome you to that's African FM World Service here in New York. Like I said, my name is Emma Ike Agu, and uh, I have been opportuned to speak with various credible men, except you, who is the only woman that was mentioned in the whole thing concerning Biafra and IPOB debate. So, my sister Ada Amarachi Okpara, I want to welcome you to Mind Radio at this hour.
Thank you very much. I'm quite delighted to join this debate.
Yes, the debate has been ranging on, and those for and those against. And, there are people who out there, they're so emotional about Biafra. And people who, if you say something, and if what you say is against their views, they will do everything to come after you. So even those of us who do our jobs, professionally, I have had the opportunity of bringing the other people, that is the IPOB group led by Nnamdi Kanu. One of their spokesperson has always been with me speaking on the radio here. His name is Clifford Iranya. But it baffled me down when Chief Dozier came on air and also made a startling revelation about IPOB. Then I wanted them to speak, both Iranya and Uche Mefo and Ima Mezu. None of them came forth to speak. So like I said, I wanted to speak with all the men before I bring you in to round up the whole thing. Give me your take, your perspective. How did this Biafra or IPOP thing began? Because Mazi, Chief Doctor Dozier Ikedife, had stated that IPOP was formed by the Council of the Supreme Council of Elders, and that the man who right now is currently in jail, called Nnamdi Kanu, went to London to register another group using the acronym of that same group they already heard. But also, the solicitor called Emeka also came on air to say the one Nnamdi registered was a private liability company, which means all the money people are contributing from left and right, back and forth, has been going to a private purse. So I need you to tell me, as somebody who was there when all these things started, what you know about this group.
Okay, thank you very much for the highlights and your question. And I'm very much happy to be part of this debate, like I said earlier on. At least it is an opportunity for me to also enlighten our people, being the only woman that has been in the midst of all these men. I had the same opportunity sometime, and I was able to say something like you rightly pointed out. When you say things that don't satisfy some people's opinion or what they think things or how they think things should be, they tend to come back at you with abuses and all of that. But that shouldn't be the case. Our people should be people who are out to learn and understand, what is happening, within this struggle. They should be open to learn and understand what happened in the past, what is happening, and what is likely going to happen in the future if we don't, take precautions and manage situations, appropriately. So in 2009, I came in contact with Nnamdi Kanu. Actually, it was my colleague, David Day. He's a British man, a white British man, that we were lecturing the same college. So he sort of talked to me about Biafra movement and all that. I quickly just told him that I'm not interested. Because I've seen how the whole thing, what's happening in the whole struggle,
right,
starting from Wazirike and all that. But he just told me that, if you meet these people, that this, and he talked me into it. And because I'm very passionate about Biafra, but I don't like the way people were going about it,
right,
I said, okay, I'm going to have a meeting with these people and see, because my concern has been the issue of transparency and trust. So when I came in contact with Nnamdi and Ucheme for them, Samume and Egemba, I was like, okay. I saw them as men with integrity. And I said, okay, I'm willing to work with you people. So we started working together. And we were very open to one another. We started the radio station. We did put in everything we have in that radio station, making sure that things, were moving smoothly. That radio station happened to be one of the best things that happened to Biafrans, if I must. That's my, in my opinion. And even Wazirike that visited also confirmed that we were able to reach the remote villages in Biafra land because it was on shortwave. So we were together until, and one thing we did was to convince our people that we can actually work together. We managed to do that for some time. And what happened, why we were able to last was because we trusted one another. We were not looking into, to find out faults among ourselves. We gave Nnamdi that benefit of doubt that, he can manage and will be responsible. Will be taking orders from him. Nobody actually, we just sort of came together and said, okay, we trust him, because at that time he was the only one that wasn't working. We were all working. So he was always in the studio, and whenever I'll finish from work or from college, I'll go there. The same thing with Uchemefo, Egemba, and Samume. So because he's the only person that is always available, he was always at the studio. So by virtue of his availability, he became the leader, and he was actually liaising with Wazirike. And maybe the mistake we made was not to be so curious about how much was coming in. We'll ask, but he would tell us, Wazirike would do this, but he never actually gave us, the exact amount of money that Wazirike was bringing in. We just trusted him that whatever he told us was correct, because one thing, is a common say that Igbo wears it. But in our own opinion, we wanted to prove that wrong, that Igbo can actually have an essence and can be rude. So that was the whole mentality we employed, during that time. All of a sudden, Nnamdi had an issue with Wazirike. Honestly, some women sort of, I will call him a vision also, because he tends to see things before they happen. And he was always saying ABC. He would prophesy, sort of prophesy, what we call prophecy this day. He would say, I can foresee this coming. And eventually that will come to pass. And most times we don't really take him seriously. He was actually the person that foresaw that Nnamdi is going to take after Wazirike, blah, blah, blah. So I don't want to go into the details of what happened between Nnamdi. But apparently, Wazirike claimed that he was giving Nnamdi such amount of money that we never saw. And because Nnamdi wasn't actually telling us the whole truth, we were not sure. So we really could not defend him. And what happened to the radio station closed down. Actually, the radio station closed down because of sponsorship. We couldn't pay the rent and, pay for the broadcast and all of that. So it closed. The whole thing closed down. But what actually happened to us was that nothing in that radio station was recovered. And up to today, none of us can actually explain. We've been asking Nandi, we asked him to give us an account of what happened to that instrument. It was a well-equipped radio station. And up to today, we did not get that. He just told us, the owner of the property, sold everything in it to recover their money also.
Okay, let me just ask you one question before you continue. Is it accurate that Sam Ume Asebu is the founder of Radio Biafra London?
Correct. Okay. Correct. Because when the discussion about how to reach out to our people, or when we had that discussion, Samume suggested that the radio will be the best, instrument to reach our people. Media, he's always into media. Nnamdi was soliciting for, newspaper articles and all of that. Yeah. But Sam said radio.
Okay, again, is it also true that why Nnamdi fell out with Wazirike was because Wazirike was using the money people were contributing to live a flamboyant lifestyle. Because of that, Nnamdi had a disagreement with him, and he got Nnamdi in trouble over that.
Yes and no, because actually when Wazirike came to London, remember what I said earlier on, that most of the discussion Nnamdi will have with Wazirike, he only tells us what he chooses to tell us. Okay, I can only say what I experienced. I know when he visited, we were in a hotel. We always he was in a hotel around Angel, and I was the one doing all the cooking and all that. And we had a couple of meetings. But what they discussed over the phone or the private meetings, I wouldn't be there, and it's only what Nnamdi tells us that we'll know. Okay, but Samume is always of the opinion that Nnamdi is hiding some things because probably he knows Nnamdi more than I do, and you know how men, when they hang out, they know themselves better. Okay, so was Rike living a flamboyant life, and is he still living a flamboyant life? Yes. Was he using the money that their friends were contributing? Yes. At least I see one, I have one or two things I can say yes, because of ABCD, I believe that he's doing that. Okay? But if we claim that he was living a flamboyant life and, blaming him for that, not really being accountable, is it not reason for us to now be more accountable? So there is no need of a kettle calling pot black when you cannot really do the opposite.
Okay, so, from there, I want to take you back to where you stopped before I ask the question. You said the equipment of the radio station that you, Egemba, Samume, and Nnamdi were running, that, Nnamdi said that the equipment was sold off by the owner of the property where the radio station was located, correct?
Yes, but what Sam was saying that that he did not release some. We were asking him if did you not know that they wanted to repossess those things? Did you inform, or who did you inform? So if you did not involve us in it, that means there are other things. There are more to it. So it was a heated argument, and up to today, none of us actually could say this is what happened to those equipment. And it was a well-equipped radio station, well of a very high standard. So not even the mixers, the telephone line, everything just went. Everything went. And not even a pin. In fact, even in the drawer, I could remember that we had some money in the drawer. So even that money actually was not accounted for. Mm-hmm. It's not a lot of money anyway, because it was part of our contribution. We were contributing amongst ourselves to do one or two things, So that was that. From that point, we started having a bit of doubt on around accountability and all of that. But that notwithstanding, we still continued. Okay, and then from then we moved to this internet radio. Mm-hmm. When we lost our funding from. Was Ricky.
So all that time, your radio station was called Radio Biafra London or Voice of Biafra?
Yeah, Radio Biafra. Yeah, Radio Biafra London.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So after that time, when I started doing the internet, I would travel from place to places, and from one, we just pay for airtime. I would go to the studio and do the radio broadcast, and then go where we actually put in a lot of time and made a lot of sacrifices and all that. Mm-hmm. Then 2012. We had this meeting. We were invited to a meeting of Biafra Liberation in Exile, and that was the first time I met Barrister Emeka. A lot of people came to that. Just a meeting of a lot of other groups. We were there, deliberating to, know the way forward. And in that meeting, Barrister Emeka, at that time he was, he used to be the solicitor for, Biafra Liberation in Yes, Biafra, Liberation in Exile.
Bilia, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes, Bilia, Europe, all this mm-hmm. So that was when I got to know that, okay, this Biafra thing is not all about, we doing ABC, fighting or killing, or, people doing all sorts of things. There is actually another way that we can achieve this, and it will benefit us. There won't be any waste of blood and all that. To be honest, Barrister Emeka just threw light. It was just like lightening the darkness around what we were doing, because at that time it was as if there is no way forward. Because when I remember a radio station, when we invited Owasirike, we wanted him to sort of hand the baton to someone else, because that was like a 10 years period, that he has been in this struggle. So we're sort of reviewing what he has done, and the progress has been made, and we wanted to say, okay, you've come to this, it's been over a decade. Can we move from this? What else can we do? It seems that you've done your best. You can hand this baton to someone else, and let's strategize and be able to make further progress. Because at that time, it was as if we're just going round and round. And obviously, the problem we have as a race that everyone wants to be on top, be the leader, be the hand, be the leg, be the eyes, be the everything, even when that person is not performing. So, and in that meeting, when Barrister just explained, everybody was happy. We were all happy that, now, actually, we can use, tap into the loophole in the Nigerian
justice system.
There's a particular word I'm looking for.
The judiciary system. Judiciary?
Yeah. Not really judiciary. You know, is it constitution? Yeah, Nigerian constitution. Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. So when Barrister explained that this, we can apply the same strategy the Hausas and the Yorubas are using, by, you know, if we can apply it, because it is allowed in the constitution of Nigeria to have customary government. That if we can gather ourselves together and have customary government, that will actually be able to achieve what we are doing, because it will be in line with United Nations guidelines, and that will help us to actually get to where we're going to. It might not be a quick or solution, but it is a very progressive route. And to be honest, everybody there embraced it. Everybody was happy about it.
Okay. Okay. So at what point did IPOB, came to be, into being? Was it during?
That's what I'm coming to that.
Okay.
So, it was Barrister that came up with indigenous people of Biafra, and because he explained that, yes, we are Nigerians by citizenship, but we are indigenous people by identity. This was how, that was my first day of hearing indigenous people. Okay, so, and then he presented his book, what do Igbos want, Nigeria presidency or, Biafra. That book, everybody, just rush and pick that book. We were all happy that finally we've arrived and all that. So that place, we agreed that, we're going to constitute maybe different departments and all that, started thinking about actually having our people positioned in the in political parties, that will help to progress our cause. Because if we start running our customary government, then and have our people in a strategic positions in the politics, then we can pass a law within the Biafran states. And once that law is passed and within our state, then the Nigerian government will not have anything to say against it. If you understand what I mean, Barrister is big, he knows this aspect of law more than me. So just manage whatever I don't be understanding what I'm saying anyway. So that was it. And we were happy, and we went, I'm sure everyone went home, happy, but all right, when I said, okay, he's just going to go home and then file the court case. And everybody were all in support. When he now left to file the court case, obviously people traveled and now felt, oh my word, the power is being taken over from me. Now it's Barrister taking over. That the people in Europe started the Biafra Liberation in Exile and all that. Those groups, they started sort of thinking now the power is going to, is being taken from them and all that. It has been a problem for our people. That staged a different war. And it was very, 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 almost bloody. On the internet, we see emails that were going back and forth. You'll be thinking to yourself, I thought we sat down and discussed this, and now. And then Nandi was defending Barrister Emeka and everything it wasn't Nandi that was actually responding to them. And it's still this strategy that, they are using now to call people names and just, that he was using at the time, because he was of the opinion that this is the best thing that has happened to, our people. And we were all working together. and looking forward to when Biafra will be liberated, and we believe that it was just nearer than that would ever come. So we carried on and started, spreading the gospel on the radio, telling our people that now this is where you need to belong, do this. You have started educating our people on how we are citizens citizens of Nigeria, but indigenous people by identity. That became our gospel at the time from 2012. Then Barrister now went home and tried to file the court case, and came and now called and said that this is what the Nigerian government are requesting. They are asking who sent you. Because they, for you to call, just like you are like a boy sent on errand, they need to know who sent you. So because of that question, then he had to quickly reach out to our elders. And you know how it is. Biafra thing is a very sensitive thing. It's people who are courageous that can actually come out to identify with this struggle. And for these elderly people to come out, look at very reputable people, and at their age. So these people came out, risk everything they have, their family, their life, their career. And identify with this struggle. That was what actually, if they didn't sign the document and said, see, we are the elders and we send these people, the whole document was available. Or as to the best of my understanding, Barrister reached out to a lot of elders within the Biafra region. But only these few people, Ezozobo and Dr. Kedife, Achizie, Debojuk, them, avail themselves to sign that document. In my own opinion, they signed away their lives. And that was how this court case started. And when he came back, we were all happy that he did that. And we carried on. Okay. So, this issue of IPOB and IPOB actually shouldn't be a company organization, is our identity.
Right.
So saying IPOB and this group IPOB is just rubbish, because it's rubbish. And he's not the originator of the thing. It was Barrister Mecca's idea. If you read that Biafra, Nigerian presidency of Biafra, you will find out that information, this indigenous people, is there already.
Yeah, but why?
So you look at the handout booklet.
I even forgot to ask Emeka, why didn't Emeka sue Nnamdi for copyright or for plagiarism when Nnamdi used the IPOB, the same name, and registered the same name, as his private company?
Okay, look at it. Actually, personally, he would have done it. Personally. But Biafran said no. Do you understand me? Because it will be a distraction.
Right.
We have to put in all that we have into what we are looking for. Going to battle with your brother, about names and what other. We just thought it's a very trivial thing that with time our people will understand. Then the IPOB, the abbreviation IPOB was actually Dr. Kedife's idea. So, because Barrister just indigenous people of Biafra, but he did not do he just copied that. Yes, but it was Dr. Ikedife that come up with the IPOB. Okay. So that is just the origin of IPOB.
Okay.
But what happened when the registered IPOB actually was when he was called to give account, because I think in 2013 we were invited by the Australian government And it was Otegemba that was meant to go, but for some personal reasons, he could not go. I was not disposed to go, and Uchemefo wasn't disposed to go. So he fell on Nnamdi to go. And the customary government issued, the letter, the authorization letter and everything, and we contributed money before he traveled. So he went, that was the origin of him touring the whole world. So I think that sort of gave him a taste of what you will look like when, you become the head and all that. The whole thing changed after he went to Australia. So he went to Australia and came back. He just gave us the feedback he gave us. And after a while, actually, people in Australia started calling to find out ABC. I don't know what they did to him, that they felt he did not give accounts. And the other thing, they started having issues with accounts and all that. And even at that time, they already started having issues with the account. That used to be the treasury.
Okay.
And financial secretary. So I had access to the not Facebook account, the PayPal account.
Right.
And it happened because Nnamdi opened that. So he will change the details so I cannot access it.
Oh boy.
So actually whatever that was paid into that, I didn't have access to it. And he kept saying that it's about, security and all that. And you expecting, the security, let me have the new one. And that was the end of it. So most times, the issue we had a lot of, there was a time I actually had like almost 3 hours of argument about accountability and all that. So, and at some point we were contributing money. Even Emeka was contributing £100 more than we were contributing £50. Emeka was contributing £100. Chijoham, that one is always, behind the stage, or what is the right word for it? You will not hear about him, but he was contributing a lot of money towards Radio Biafra broadcast, at least more than other people. So, at a point, the whole thing, when he now started traveling and going around, sometimes we don't even know that he'll be traveling. And there was a time I just asked him, did you really discuss this with other people? It now seems that this is now one man affair and all that. I could remember I was somewhere in London called Hyde Park Corner when that call came in. And there are a couple of other issues around that accountability and, how he was managing things that everyone was getting fed up with. And it was always an issue. And because we didn't have a physical radio station, it was a big issue. We only meet, in people's houses or the radio, other people's studios. At this point in time, we were meeting at Imam Meju's house. And Imam Meju actually joined us. In one of the broadcasts, you had this issue with a Yoruba person. Can't remember his name again, but we were using his studio. But on this day, he was playing out his own, like Yoruba music. So we're now thinking that something is happening here. Maybe this guy has been paid or bribed or whatever to sort of distort what we are doing. So that was the day that Imam Mezi, that was his first time of meeting with us in the studio, and he now volunteered to, give us his house, or, for us to use his house to do the broadcast. So we started going there. It's far, but because it's free, we all started going there. That was how Imam Mezi came, into the scene. So we started using his house for the broadcast, and eventually, when and then this lady in America as well joined us. She was broadcasting from America.
Who is that? What's her name?
What's her name now? The one that they also trashed.
Is it Chioma?
Not Chioma. This other lady. It's not Chioma.
Okay.
I'm not very good with names, except I'm always with you, so I can't.
The one.
Chidera, I think Chidera.
Okay, Chidera.
Yeah, Chidera. So while all these things were going on, we were broadcasting from, and then we're having this, at that time we're having a meeting here at the Belief Human Rights Initiative and all that. And we started having meetings as the Belief Human Rights Initiative, not really indigenous people of Biafra. We're having that because Delay is the umbrella that covers us and all that. We're trying to educate our people that Biafrans cannot really, you are not immune to the arrows of Nigeria, if you understand what I mean. The only immunity we have is Bilie. So because if you're a member of Bilie, the Nigerian government will not really have I don't know how to explain.
I understand. So, the barrister had also all these things you're saying now was exactly what the barrister said.
The barrister said, okay, yes, it's better when it comes from him because
my point, the question now is: at what point did Nnamdi, fall out with?
That's what I'm coming to, because it's good to lay the foundation and then come to the what happened. So what happened now was that Engineer Ipa leveled some accusation against Nnamdi. Actually wrote to barrister as a solicitor and complain about some things, issues that he had within Nnamdi around accountability and what he was asked to do with the people in China to get some materials, from China, and he thought there's a lot. I can't remember exactly, but it's just that.
And there was a girl too in US. I learned that.
Yeah, that's Chidera.
Okay.
If I'm right, yes. I think her name is Chidera. Chidera also accused Nnamdi of some things that she wasn't happy about, and then when that came up, it was reported to the customary government and the Spring Council of Elders. The Spring Council of Elders said that because it's here, Nnamdi is in London, we can invite Nnamdi and then resolve that issue. Then if we are not able to resolve it here, then we'll now find a way around it. Probably they will invite Nnamdi to come to Nigeria, come to Biafra land, and they will sit down and discuss that with him. So based on that, barrister sent an invitation to Nnamdi, inviting him to come to the meeting and tell Biafra, what actually happened. That was it. Nnamdi didn't come. At that time, he had already recruited Carol Monday. So Carol Monday was now acting like a personal assistant, and he was, and even we were of the opinion that him hiring Carol Monday was just his own business because he did not consult us, the people that were, working with him. So he's always taking that decision without involving the core people.
And the Carol Monday is not even a Nigerian.
He's not even in Nigeria. So, that was it. So, in that meeting, Carol Monday attended that meeting. I think that was his first meeting. And I remember in the meeting, and she was saying, that this cannot be resolved because blah, blah, blah. She was actually saying that Nnamdi did not get this letter or whatever. And I was like, if you're not Nnamdi's voice. That was from that day, that was when she actually told us that, was it? I can't remember exactly, but she left there with some members from there to open this IPOB on the same day. So they left that meeting with what's her name? Carol Monday and some other people from that meeting, and it became obvious that they have been communicating and working towards actually having a different organization altogether. So that was when I started hearing about IPOB and Croydon, this, that. They actually called me. I said, I'm not part of that. That was just the beginning of it. So from that day, he just, and then registered IPOB, whatever limited he registered. Barrister Emeka brought that up in a meeting and said, so that was just the beginning of IPOB, Nandi's group, and the many indigenous people of Biafra, whatever. So that was just the origin. And this happened in 2013.
Okay. I had Karamondi. Karamondi was writing for my site until I let her go, because my site, I have a site that then called Nigerian FM. That's Nigeria Family Mail. She was writing under another alias and then working for Nnamdi. So, and she said a lot of things, about Nnamdi. And later on, she started sounding as if she really, likes Nnamdi, or she, that's the thing for another day. So, but
to be honest, because of our people's mentality, Nand just tapped into our people's vulnerability by using Karamondi, knowing that their mindset are people. Even Onyocha is also fighting for us, and that was how they just embraced her. But she was used as an instrument to deceive our people.
I know.
To deceive our people. And it's very, very unfortunate. And if you remember what I said, there is no reason for kettle to call pot black if you're not going to do any better. That is, in my opinion, that is what Nandi is doing. If you're blamed Owazurike for doing ABC, are you better than Owazurike now? I do not see him in any way better. And I am really disappointed, to be honest, that the Radio Biafra that I started, I was so much sure that we're going to be different. I was so much sure that I was working with men of integrity. I never knew that it would turn out like this. But what I say, a lot of people that blamed myself and Doctor and Samume for not speaking out at the time. I'm not into all these media thing and the internet, all this, their battle thing. I'm not into it. I don't think I have that time to waste. Because if we are not going to engage in a sensible discussion, then I'm out of it. I'm not going to fight any battle, online battle. I'm not into it.
Right.
So, it's just very disheartening.
Okay. So
that we started so well.
Yeah, I know.
And at the end of the day, the instrument that was meant to build our people is now an instrument that is used to waste souls, destroy our people, feeding them with information that people that are feeding them information know within themselves that is not true. But because of their own selfish interest, they continue to dish out what they're dishing out to our people.
Yes.
It's very, very unfortunate. And I don't put all the blame on them. I put the blame on our people that failed to reason. Because the question I ask some of them that call me is, especially when they were abusing people, someone will tell you, this person did A, B, C, D. And you go on and abuse that person. My question to them is, have you really call that person? Have you had the time to discuss with that person and find out the information, whether the information you heard about them is correct or incorrect before you start abusing that person? Someone like Ebere Anibog was like that. But when she found out that she was being misled, what did she do? She stopped. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, to say the least. It's very, very unfortunate.
I had a situation where I brought Karamondi after we fired her from our station here. I had her, and she didn't know I was interviewing her. and she told me a lot of things that happened within, but didn't want those things to be made public. And I kept asking her.
Why?
I thought by being, a Caucasian or whatever, or a gypsy Caucasian, there will be some iota of truth, in your dealing with people.
Oh.
I thought she would have that human mind because I saw in a picture where Uchemefo and one other guy claimed that they went to see the British Prime Minister, that they handed a letter to him. Then that was what really made me to call her to ask her, did you guys hand over to the British Prime Minister, or you go to the gate of 10 Down Street, and gave, the letter to a security man, And then she started, soliloquizing. I said, no. Did you guys do that? That was why I got angry, and I recorded her. And then she was on air, and people were shocked. I made her that day felt like a fool. Because for us here, we do everything to ask people questions, go to the bottom of every issue to get the truth out of people. But mine is.
She has actually, sorry to cut you off, because before she has actually confided on some, in some people that actually came back to me and said, "This is what Karamonde said to us." That they are not really out to get the Afra.
Yeah, she said.
And I'm like,
she said it that
is what
Nnamdi is misappropriating the money. She told me about what happened between Nnamdi and the Chinese, your Chinese chapter, and also showed me a letter written by one to Chukwu, who is in China. And then a lot of things, all those things, we published all those things. But then the question is, then why should Nnamdi and his group turn around to say that they dissolved the, Supreme Council of Elders headed by Mazi Dozier Ikedife because they are OPC. Yeah.
See what happened there.
APC.
Because they're just trying to, they know the truth. It's just like what the devil, if you're a Christian, what the devil does, he knows what the truth is, but he'll give you the counterfeit. So it will look like the truth, but it's not the truth. Okay? So what he does, what him and his group does is, because the Spring Council, the customary government has a leadership as the Spring Council of Spring Council of the Elders. So when he had his own, he created his own IPOB. He now also established called even this somebody. He called all these. He wanted to gang up all the other groups together to have their own government. So he actually established his own Spring Council of Elders, which he dissolved, but not this particular Council of Elders. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I think within a couple of months, he actually had about 3 sets of, if I'm right, 2 or 3 sets of Spring Council of his own Council of Elders. So if you're not dancing to his tune, he will just, he put you in the position, he will remove you and put another person until he just couldn't continue. That was when he dissolved it. Because everything has to revolve around him. If he doesn't have a sole ownership of the group, then it's not going to work. So he had his own.
The whole thing is like, it's more like a blackmail, because if you mention Bilie, if you mention names in fact, the people that I interviewed, thousands of them are all there on my fan page saying that they are Bilie. So what is the problem? At what point did Nnamdi and Bilie became sworn enemies, to the point that he had to even make a statement that if they see any member of Bilie, the person should be assassinated? I saw all that. I heard all that.
Yeah, it was because he was invited to come and say what happened, transfer between him and Chidera, and then
the engineer.
And Yes, engineer, and then account for all the money that their fans were contributing. Because remember, at the time, people were contributing because they were contributing towards the court case. It was the court case that actually attracted a lot of people, and they started contributing. Initially, nobody wanted to contribute any dime towards Radio Biafra. Mm-hmm. Nobody until this court case started. That was what attracted learned people into this struggle. It attracted the elites into the struggle, and people were donating towards the court case. And Radio Biafra website had a billion account there. So people were donating, but he did not give account of that. He didn't give any account. So it was when people were calling, and I remember the guy in Australia called and said that he called to ask him about the account, and then just shut him off. So anybody that calls to find out about the account, then you become his enemy. So accountability was the reason why Nnamdi decamped and started his own. And he is never going to give anybody any account. You can remember that even with his own people, there was a time this accounting, started again, and he just gave one skippy, whatever thing. It's all about accountability.
Also,
and that has been an issue.
Okay, so Uchebe and Imam Israel, they were there when all these things started. How come they keep telling the whole story and the whole narrative to favor Nnamdi?
Best of the self-feeder. If that is what they are making a living out of it, so why won't they support what they are making a living out of? Because now it's all about business. It's not really about Biafra. It's all about enriching themselves and living a larger-than-life lifestyle. Why Biafrans are perishing.
So, could those who are calling IPOB led by Nnamdi Kanu, those who are calling them scammers or an organized group of con men, are they far from the truth?
I don't think they are far from the truth.
And
I don't think they are far from the truth at all.
And what is your advice?
If I am not an insider, and if I'm not, I wasn't there when the whole thing started, I will be as ignorant as these people, and what you ask yourself, most people that have left them is, they were also like people that are still there with them. They were like them before, and they back them up until they begin to see that, what I believe in is not really what is, what it is. So it's just, it's ridiculous.
And what is your advice? Because right now, there are thousands of people out there who, when they even see the truth, or when you say, okay, listen so that you can hear a different voice, they will tell you it doesn't matter. What they believe is what they believe, especially against Chief Ikedife that these people have been calling names. According to the man, he said there is nothing on earth they have not told him. Some of them even said that they sent them to come and kill him. The man said, all right, so if you want to kill me, what else? What else do I want? And the man, I even asked him that question of him shaking hands with Buhari. He said, man, if he has opportunity again, he will do it more over and over. And he said it's only midgets with small minds who, refuse to dialogue, refuse to sit down with people and dialogue and a lot of things. So what is your advice to all these people?
What I advise our people is to, to investigate things. Don't just run with an information given to you. Go out and do your own research. Find out for yourself. Because the problem our people have is that they don't even read, they don't research. it's just like when Dr. Teddy said an interview to the newspaper, and one someone, a more powerful, came and just said something from nowhere that not even, it doesn't have any background of any sort. And I'm thinking, where is this one? It was just so obvious that he's so ignorant.
And also Clifford. Do you know Clifford Iranya? When did you come?
Yes, I know. Clifford was aftermath of Imam Miz or whatever. It was when I'd already, last time I partook in Radio Biafra broadcast was in 2013. That was it. And even before then, I think Iranya also, I can't even remember. I don't know if he had already joined or whatever. But Iranya is just a replica of Nnamdi. Nnamdi just brought people that he trained to be like him. People, he is wise, he's intelligent, and and knowledgeable. But he groomed people that do not reason, because if you do not believe in what Nnamdi is saying, then you're a bastard.
Yes.
And he groomed his people to see other people as bastards because they do not believe in what they believe. You don't expect everybody to be like you. You don't expect everybody to agree with you. You have to allow people to have their own opinion, because you have your own opinion. So if people do not want to do things the way you do, it does not make them any stupid or less important. That is just his own strategy, to be on top. He feels that the only way to get to the top is to pull every other person down. So he put people down to stand up on them to get to where he's going, but it can only last for a while. And if you look at it, most of the people that are there now, they keep recruiting ignorant people. And when they recruit ignorant people, they just feed them with just that, and just block their eyes from seeing, and just tell them any other thing you hear is nothing. And I also understand they take oaths.
Yeah.
So that oath could also be affecting them, because I don't know what they do. I just said this. Whether it's right or wrong, I can't say.
Yeah, but Clifford confirmed.
There is the power of oath. Yes. If you take an oath that you're never going to say anything against your leader, then how would you go out and say something against your leader? You know the repercussion.
Right.
So that is their strategy to keep people bound, and feed them with all sorts of rubbish. And even when people leave them, they find it difficult to speak. They will say one thing, behind closed doors, and when they go out, they say a different thing, because they are afraid of being trashed. So I will not even be surprised if tomorrow my name will be all over the place.
Well, you should expect that, because by the time we put this thing out, it's going to go viral. So you should...
definitely.
You should have a firewall.
And that is it. So I have been in the system.
Mm-hmm.
I know what they are like. And you know what? I'm not even going to say a word outside what I'm telling you now. So anybody that is expecting me to respond to any trash, I have better things to do than to listen or respond to any trash, because they are going to call me names, because I'm going to become a prostitute now.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, after speaking to you. No, I'm just going to tell myself all the things I'm doing, because I know I have an idea of what I'm going to become after this interview.
Well, no problem. So who is Ada Amarachi Okpara? Who can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is not really Ada. It's just Ada. You know how our people call her, a young lady. We refer them as Nwada, Like, it was actually Nnamdi, because he's very good with Igbo language as well as English language. So he was the person that came up with that, Nwada. When we're doing radio broadcast, you say, okay, I have with me here Nwada Amarachi, and that was how that name came up. And people just, start calling me that Nwada Amarachi Okpara. Okay? At the time, at that time, I was saying Nwada Amarachi Okpara. Now I am a married woman. And so my name has actually changed from Amarachi Okpara to Amarachi Okpara. Okay. So, but a lot of people still call me by Okpara, and so they won't be wrong if they call me by Okpara. But Okpara is my marital surname now. So I'm a married woman, you know, I live with my husband and my child. I'm also a lecturer in the United Kingdom. So I'm a true Biafra.
We'll call you professors here. Lecturers here are called professors now. That's what we call them.
Being a lecturer doesn't make you a professor.
No, here, whoever is a lecturer, we say you are a professor. That's what we say. That's what we call all of them.
Oh, okay. All right. I was in United States at that time. I came for the United Nations Women Conference. The Women Conference. Yeah, I was in America at that time. Yeah.
Okay, we're here in New York, and I'll be talking with you from time to time. I told you we set out to talk for 20 minutes now. It's over 1 hour. So I'll be calling on you. Yeah, I'll be calling on you from time to time. And like you know, this is gonna be a firestorm out there when I put this thing on air very shortly. You can also I will send you. You have a Twitter. What do you call it? Twitter. You're on Twitter, right?
Like I said, I am not a fan of media. Unfortunately. So actually, it was barrister. I'm not barrister, but that forced me to be on because when I read something that are just rubbish to me, I don't have that time. I'm just too busy for all this stuff. But it was when I went to America, this United Nations Women's Conference, I felt like, I think I'm laid back. Because that would have helped, you know. I would have been able to put forward some of the things that happen and information and actually enlighten our people. But to be honest, I thought that when I come back, I would quickly go